Hello and welcome to a stunning Glencoe this morning in the Scottish Highlands. I'm standing at the bottom of the Glen here, just behind me is Loch Actriopton, and I've got no plan. The plan is there is no plan, and the reason being is I'm going to actually let the light decide, because what we've got today is we've got these sort of sunshine and showers, and as the showers come through, just after or before, you get this beautiful light, and you can see this light dancing across the landscape behind me here. This is the Anachega here, and it's just dancing across the landscape. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to let the light decide where I'm going. So come and join me and let's go and chase the light in Glencoe. So as a landscape photographer, light is pretty much the equivalent of an artist's paint. It just brings your landscapes to life, gives them that vivid colours, and it just looks amazing, makes them pictures pop. Now the thing is with the light today is wonderful, and that is quite common with Scotland, is you've just got to wait a bit and you get this broken cloud every now and again, and it'll just fly on through. And if you can be in the position just ahead of the curve, so to speak, so you're kind of predicting where it's going to come. So to do that, you need to know which direction the wind's coming, the orientation of the Glen itself, and a rough idea of shots you want to achieve. And that way you can kind of just get ahead of the light, so to speak, get yourself set up, and then as it drifts on through, you've got your shot. Now this time of year, we're kind of end of June at the moment, all the vegetation is very green and vivid, so it's quite nice. The only downside of that is if it's in quite a blue sky day, and boy have we had some blue sky days over the last 3 or 4 weeks, it's been so dry. It goes very uniform, it's very sort of no textures in there. But when you get this broken light that comes through and you get bits of sort of hints of light on the landscape, it really does work for your landscapes. So I'm going to head up the Glen a little bit further up. I don't think I'm going to stay around here. I'm going to head up a little bit higher up, and I'm going to try and get myself into some positions, and I'm going to sit there and wait for that light to pop on through. It's really nice just sitting there in the landscape and letting the light flit across. It's fantastic. And while I was sitting at the bottom of the loch, there's a couple of trees over there just lit up. It was like a torch on them, and they went so vivid green. So I've got rain coming here. It's just about to hit me. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to head that way and get set up for when this rain comes over and we'll get some beautiful light again. So that's the rain gone over very quickly, a matter of minutes. I parked up and I'm just going to walk up to them trees. They look great, but just look behind me, look what's going on. I mean, that is truly fantastic. I mean, look at the light as it's coming through on the Anachega here. So yeah, you don't have to wait long in Scotland, it soon sort of comes back to life again. Okay, let's head to them trees. Yeah, that's me at the trees, just a bit of health and safety, just watch that road. So cross over and cross back again, don't walk up the A82, it's a terrible road. And be careful when you're crossing because it's quite busy this time of year. So I've got to the trees themselves, There's a little bit of a rainstorm coming back on, so I'm quite glad I'm here because I can hide under it and get some shelter. But the problem is, it's just not grabbing me. I'm just not. I've got the drama of the Anikiga behind me, but the trees themselves, maybe I'm too close to the trees. I don't know. I'll have a wander around. Let me see if I can find something that's going to work for me. But we'll just let that rainstorm go. Okay, so I've walked up a bit further up the glen away from the trees. There's some potential here. I've got a feeling that there's something good around here. I've got to my, just up the top there is Loch Ossian and some potential with the trees there. So I'm going to have a look at that. But what's caught my attention is there's a few boulders over here, which is, you can just see there, look. So they've caught my attention because potentially they could make some great foreground interest. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to them, have a look at them, potentially looking kind of north, looking over the Anikiga here with there's some quite dramatic sort of clouds in the top there, so it looks very flat at the minute because there's no light, but that's what we're here for. So I'm going to go and head over to these boulders, see if there's some potential there. Oh dear, that's more rain coming. So we'll just batten down the hatches here and let it pass through. It's only a matter of minutes. Welcome to Scotland and Glencoe. I've met the boulders though, and I think there's some good composition here, so this might work. So I'm just going to let this storm go by, and then hopefully that light will come back, and I'll show you what my composition is. Okay, that's the rain easing off. That was quite a heavy storm, that was. Luckily I got behind that boulder, so I've kept relatively dry, but yeah, it was quite heavy. Anyway, let me turn you around. You can see that light coming in behind me now, so I'm going to flip you around and I'm going to show you my composition here. So I've got these lovely boulders in the foreground here, which work really quite well. Here's the magic finger. And then what it does is it goes up, and you can see this like scree slope down here, almost like a mini alluvial fan, just coming off the top of the Anikiga here. So that kind of lines up really quite nice, and then it takes me up to the top of the Anikiga as well. So I think that's the shot I'm going to go for. I think what I'll do is I'll show you a shot before without any light on it, and then I'll show you the actual shot that I've taken with the light. So here's a shot without any light on it, and it's still a fantastic shot, very moody, but it works really well. But you can see how flat everything is. Okay, what I've done now is I've waited for the light a little bit. I was patient enough to get the right light to come through. And what I mean by that is I didn't want too much on the boulders in the foreground here, because what that would do would mean that the boulders would be very heavy, very dominant in the shot, and it would stop your eye making that journey up to the top of the Anikiga there. So by putting this boulders a little bit soft and then the main light onto the alluvial fan scree slope and up onto the Anikiga, it pulls your eye away from those boulders and leads your eye on that journey all the way to the top. So I'm really quite happy with this. So if you like this shot, here's the shot. Wow, that was great, weren't it? What a lovely shot. Unfortunately, that's the rain back on now, so I've got my hood up, bit of shelter. Should be fine, just wait a few minutes and it'll be blown on by. But while I was up, I got some beautiful shots. I got the drone up and I got some lovely drone shots of the Chancellor and the Annick Eagle looking there, so it was really nice. And then when I got it up in the air, I just turned it around to look down the glen, seeing if there was a nice sort of video there, and actually there was a beautiful composition that worked out all right. So, and the light was coming through really nice. So what I've done is I've actually taken a drone shot here, and the composition is the A82 leading the way. Now obviously with the drone you've got to be a good distance away from the A82 because of the rules. But what that did is, because I was so far away from it, I got the kind of snaking leading line of it going down the glen, and then I got Loch Actreocton and this beautiful light coming down Acton Bay. So it was a lovely shot, and I was really thought this is going to be a good one. So what I've done is I've taken the image. So if you like that image, here it is. That was really nice, weren't it? A little brosy bonus. Just that light makes a massive difference, and it really does show in that image from the drone how flat it can be before the light sort of comes on through, and not having pure blue skies, just having that dappled light with bits of clouds on it just makes such a difference on that landscape. So I'm really pleased with that image. I'm absolutely delighted. Okay, well, as you can see, the rain's back on, hood up, so I am going to head on down. I'm perhaps going to grab in the car, get a bit of lunch at the Clackaig, and then maybe head up a bit further up the glen this afternoon. Okay, well that's me had a nice bowl of tomato soup at the Clackaig Inn. Thank you very much, it was delicious. So now I've come up a bit higher up in the glen here. I've parked in one of the main car parks here, and I've just come down the bottom a little bit. It's a bit chaotic this time of year, but that's the summer for you, what to expect. Now the reason I've come down here is because even though the weather's kind of the same, so sunshine and showers, it's got a bit of overcast and a bit of rain about right now. But because we're summer solstice, the sun is really quite high up in the sky. So this time of year, it kind of like a big sort of searchlight just lights up the Three Sisters of Glencoe. So having a bit of an idea of the orientation of the glen, knowing that it's this direction, it means that I know that in the summer solstice that sun is really high, and therefore I'm going to get some light on some of these Three Sisters of Glencoe here. So that's what I'm hoping for. I might trek up and get a good composition. It's really difficult to get good comps in the glen itself because the mountains are so high and so in your face that they just tend to dominate the shot. But I think I'm going to head up a little bit further up, so I'm just going to get a little bit of distance away from them, and that should give me a good view of that Three Sisters. Okay, let's go and find a good comp. Okay, what I've decided on it is I'm just loving Garanach, which is the middle of the Three Sisters. It just looks fantastic, very dominant, real mass of a mountain there, so it's really quite nice. So I think I've got my eye on that. The orientation of it's working well with that light just coming down that way, straight on the mountain. Let me come around here. So just coming down here onto the mountain is just perfect. It's just picking out all those textures and details, which is great. So I like the mountain, so I'm going to concentrate on that. It's kind of where I stand here. Now I'm at a bit of an impasse really. I can carry on down here, which is going to take me to the Lost Valley, or there is a bit of a track coming up and I can get a bit more elevation looking over Garanach. Or what to do. I think I'm going to go high up first off and let's have a look at it, and then if not I'll head down to the Lost Valley. Yeah, so great. I got down to the T-junction where the track leads off down to the gully and then up to the Lost Valley. And there is a little Argo track that kind of leads off to the left here. So I've walked up this track and I've got a little bit of elevation, and what happens is it turns into kind of a little rocky, stony footpath. And I was walking on, I thought I'd better just check, make sure I'm in the good composition. I turned around and I seen the footpath there, and it just made for a good leading line, which is really nice. So what I've done is I've set up, it's quite a portrait orientation again, because this is a very long and tall shot. And it's allowing me to get the kind of monolith of the Garanik in the shot. And just with that light coming on at that angle is just lovely right now. There's quite a lot of blue sky at the moment, so probably a little bit too much sky for me. But I'm going to let that cloud come over again. I can see a rainstorm in the distance, so I don't have to wait long. And then hopefully I'll get some cloud in the sky and lose all this blue sky, and then just get these little dapple bits of sunlight, like a searchlight, lighting up Garanik. Well, that was a fantastic shot, wasn't it? I'm so delighted with that. Has that light come on through, it just lit up Garanik and it just made it pop really nice. And that's the good thing with Glencoe, it's orientation and it's on the west coast. Generally that weather's going to come in from the west. So if you can leapfrog these storms, get into a composition that works for you, and then just let that light drift towards you, then all it requires is a tad bit of patience and you're going to get some really stunning shots. Glencoe, I think, is the best location in Scotland for transient light, and as it pops on through there. So get yourself here and come and chase that light like I've done today. Now stop what you're doing, do me a favour, head on down, click on the thumbs up just to say thank you for doing the video. And if you really like my content, go on to the subscribe button, click on that and click on the bell icon as well, and you'll get a notification every time I post. I'm posting about every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, something like that. Now I don't do it too seriously, so it's quite fun just to do. Okay, if you've got time, write me a few comments. I like your comments. Have you chased light in Glencoe? Have you chased light anywhere else? Is it something you consider? Which of the 2 photos or even the 3 photos you prefer? I love reading your comments. It just makes me sort of get in touch with you guys. Cool, okay, I will see you in the next vlog, and thank you so much for coming on board. Okay, well that's the rain on. Don't take long, does it? Anyway, I've got my hood up, got a bit of shelter, so we should be okay. Oh, hang on, I've got a motorbike coming. Okay, well that's the rain back on, it didn't take long. I've got a bit of shelter, got my hood up, should be fine. 1,000 motorbikes!